All right, what's up? It is Tim Sykes, and I'm sorry I didn't do a video lesson on Friday. I was actually traveling, and there was just so much craziness. I was just wiped at the end of the day. So this is kind of like a Friday review and a monthly review, and just a whole review of the current market so that you can really have the right mindset and capitalize on these stocks because you do have to trade and think a little differently as the past few days have proven. So before I get into all of these stocks, I will say number one question I'm getting with this stocks to trade sale. If you go to stockstotrade.com/sale, it is 35% off the annual subscription. It was supposed to end on May 1st, and I'm just so far behind on emails. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to catch up to all of them, but I had to trade and I had to really take advantage of the market craziness. So we're going to extend this sale only until, what is it? Let's see. We'll do it until Mother's Day, okay? So not saying you're going to get it for your mother, but until Mother's Day, until May 8th, you will have the ability to save 35% off stocks to trade on an annual subscription for data and stock scanning. These are just a few of the tweets that people are just loving the software. And if you go to stockstotrade.com/sale, you can take advantage of it. We will not have another 35% off sale. As I've mentioned, my team and I have not made any money on stocks to trade. In fact, we're still in a six-figure hole. So we're not doing this for profit. We created this tool specifically to help you guys find the hottest stocks, sort the breaking news, and really just see everything much easier. Because frankly, there's not many or not any platforms dedicated to low price stocks like stocks to trade is. This is specifically for my strategy, and it's pre-programmed with a bunch of scans that I use daily. So this is your one chance. If you go to stockstotrade.com/sale, you have a week. By then I will have caught up on all of the emails, or at least most of them. It's been a crazy few days. You don't even know. And then also timsykessale.com. Here is the URL in case you have any questions. timsykessale.com. Again, this was going to end on May 1st, but this is going to go till May 8th. And all of these newsletters, annual subscriptions, 30, 40, 50% off. Some new DVDs like this Bitcoin Basics, and Trading Around Equilibrium from Matty Owens, one of the newest millionaire traders. And I'm going to be writing a review on that right after I finish this video. I'm catching up on a whole bunch of stuff. And Trading Tickers is a must-watch, also from Tim Grittani, and my newest DVD, Spikeability. In case you have any questions about which DVDs would I recommend. You really have to get used to these kinds of crazy spikes. This is GLBS. In 2 days now, it's gone from roughly 35 cents. It hit a high of 177-ish, 178, I don't know. But long story short, I mean, this is what? Let's see. 0.34 times 4. I'm so bad at math. 5. 0.35 times 5. Yeah, so 5 times your money in 2 days. And I was buying this thing at 45 cents. And a lot of people thought that I was crazy. And then it went up 5 times your money the next day. I did not have the patience to hold. It's scary. It's not an exact science. I didn't know that it was going to spike this much. But what I did was simply play the sympathy of PRGN. GLBS is the closest competitor of PRGN. They both did kind of financing deals at the same time. PRGN went from 25 cents all the way up to $4. So not just 5 times your money, we're talking 20 times your money in 2 days. Awesome run up. And a lot of people are like, this is impossible. It's not going to last. Well, guess what, guys? I've already talked about this exact pattern where a sector catches fire. If you've seen my How to Make Millions DVD, it is 35 hours long, and there is an entire chapter dedicated to this exact pattern. So everyone's asking, how did you know to buy GLBS? Well, sympathy plays. I also bought ULTR, which didn't get as much of a spike, but we got a little bit. What was it? Free F, which got a little bit of a spike. What was the other one that I bought? Uh, I can't even remember. There's so many. These are all junk. And I say that these stocks are junk in the alert. But when you have the ability to go up 5 times or 20 times, it doesn't matter if it's junk or not. You're just trying to piggyback the momentum. And that's what, oh, my other one was HUSA, which actually closed high at 32. I was buying it at 23 cents. I'm sorry they spiked so quick, but you gotta get, prepared. I couldn't even buy my full position. I only got a partial position. By the time I even alerted, it had already moved even more. This stuff moves quick. So the key to making money is never following anybody's alerts, never following anybody's picks. It's being prepared. And that's why, yes, I'm a DVD pusher. People are like, oh, you're just a DVD salesman. Yes, but what is in my DVD? Okay, I'm not selling you a junky used car. I'm selling you information and knowledge that I've learned over the past 2 decades so that you can be better prepared. Everybody who has seen my How to Make Millions DVD, ideally multiple times, was prepared. And you understand that when there's a stock like PRGN that spikes like this, there's going to be other sympathy plays. People are looking for the next PRGN, whether or not these companies are good or not. And by the way, these will all crash next week. So if you've seen my How to Make Millions DVD, hopefully you're prepared to short sell. This is going to be a great month of May just on the short side, just as the end of April was a great time to buy these on the way up. So you have 2 opportunities. The opportunities are not over on these, and I fully expect PRGN and all of these, GLBS especially too, to tank. And I know they're only trading at $1, $2, but they're still probably going to drop 30, 40, 50% in the next week. If you don't believe me, just watch. Wait and see. I've seen these patterns again and again and again. It's not an exact science. I don't know the exact time and date and price at which these are going to crash, but I have a general idea. That's why I bought GLBS before it went up 5 times. Even though, what did I make? I made like 20%. I didn't make, 200, 300% on my money. I took the meat of the move, and as it turns out, I was a little too early. I should have held overnight. So congrats to everybody. I got to give props to so many people. I don't even know where to begin. I guess I'll begin with this. This is probably one of the best trades that I've seen, with a screenshot from my student Sid. And he just, saw PRGN. He only invested $400 and he sold it the next day, and he made, or 400 turned into 2,300. So he made roughly $1,900 overnight on a $400 investment. This is why I love penny stocks. The whole world will rip on penny stocks. Everybody will say, oh, they're scams, they're junk. I don't disagree that this is junk, but this is junk that can spike 500, 600, 1,000%. And that's the beautiful reason to play these penny stocks. It's not an exact science. It's not going to happen every time. But when the heavens part and the stocks spike, that creates opportunity both on the long side for the first few days. If you read my watch list, I actually said I expect PRGN to spike a little bit more. I underestimated it. So people are like, oh, Tim, you were totally wrong. You said to short it. Oh, I also said Fridays are the most dangerous day to short, and hopefully it'll spike enough so that it'll be good to short next week. So I was kind of right, kind of wrong, but I didn't even trade it. This is when my students, become self-sufficient, and this is what I love. He's thanking me, but thank yourself. All I can do is provide the patterns and kind of lessons that I've learned over the years. You make your own trades, okay? And you need to go in with a plan, and I can help you with your plan. That's my proudest moment, when I can try and show you what you can potentially do if you have a plan, if you have guidance, if you have knowledge of these patterns, versus 99.9% of the world where they're just like, this is crazy, I've never seen anything like this, okay? I feel like Jeff Goldblum in Independence Day, and I'm figuring out the stupid little patterns that the aliens do, and no one else knows it. I'm not that smart. I'm not as smart as Jeff Goldblum's character in Independence Day, and hopefully Independence Day 2 will be a good movie, but I'm not that smart. I'm just experienced. I've seen these patterns again and again and again. And if you don't believe me, Wait a few months, wait a few weeks, you'll see it for your very own eyes. A lot of you guys were scared to play PRGN. That's fine. In my last video, I said it's okay to be scared. It's good to be scared. These are crazy stocks. But at least witness it, experience it, so that you can see when it goes from 25 cents to $1.50 and other chat rooms are shorting it and they're saying, shorted, it's up so much. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't short it exactly just yet. And then it nearly hits $4 a share. Other chat rooms have gotten destroyed thinking that you could just short any hot penny stock without knowledge of this pattern. I remember a stock called PBMD where several other chat rooms got destroyed. People losing half, three-quarters, all of their money because the stock went, I think, from 50 cents to like $2 or $2.50, and everyone was shorting the 500, the 5% or the 5 times your money increase, right? And I was like, well, I'm not going to short it. It's holding near its highs. And then it went to 6. Okay, so you can either ignore my lessons and you'll see how you do. That's kind of the beautiful thing. That's why I don't really care about haters, because you can ignore me, but you'll probably be back within a few months or a few years, and a lot of people come back hat in hand. And I'm not saying that I'm all knowing. Sometimes I'm wrong not to short, but I know risk, and I see what happens to too many traders who don't properly understand risk. And I don't want that to happen to you, It gives all short sellers, it gives all penny stock short sellers a bad name if you lose half or all your money and you blame the strategy rather than your own ignorance or your own laziness. I don't want to see that happen to you. So PRGN will be a good short next week, but I was in no rush to short it, and congrats to everybody who bought it. I know there's a whole group of people who say never buy any of this junk. It's all junk. You should never buy it. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? This guy just made a huge amount on a $400 investment. This is how you can grow your account exponentially. You can't grow your account exponentially just always shorting, waiting for a pump and dump. Happens maybe a few times a year where there's shares to short and you get the 50% drop. This is a 200, 300, 400, 500% type opportunity. So you better learn how to trade this, especially all of you guys with small accounts. I'm sorry for swearing and getting worked up, but I hate misinformation. Also, got to give props to Tim Grattani. He started the year off slow. With slower profits and smaller profits. He was trading smaller, and I'm sure he'll do a monthly recap as he always does. But he just made $68,000 on the month, which was a fantastic gain. And you'll see here, he's got some gains. 14,000 on Skies, SKYS, which was a classic supernova. This one actually went further than I thought, and now it's dropped nicely. What was his other one? LEI. This was a nice supernova, and he shorted that. So he made like 20,000 on just those 2 trades, but a lot of 5,000s, 4,000s, 4,000s. Awesome job. And he's mainly a short seller, as you can see from his profits. So learn from what he's done right. Hopefully you've seen his DVD and you understand when he shorts a stock. Sometimes he's wrong too. Let me show you. You can sort unprofitably now by losses. And he loses 2,000, 2,000, 1,000. But look at his losses compared to his gains. It's night and day. So congrats to him. I also got to give props to Jonas again. He made this whole free penny stock guide. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's on timothysykes.com. Where was it? Oh, here we go. My student Jonas's guide to penny stocks. And this was him. He came to my Madrid meetup last summer, which was awesome, meeting several of my European students. And he wrote this whole guide. So, Google this. Go see, Google, you can Google Tim Sykes, Jonas's guide to penny stocks. It's a free guide, and he just made $6,000 the other day. So awesome job to him. I should also mention later, I guess I'm going to release this video on May 1st. I'm filming it on April 30th. But later today, when you see this video, or maybe you'll see it afterwards, but on May 1st at the Miami Heat game versus the Hornets, I will be courtside with my dad. Thank you guys for liking this. I'm going to post some cool photos and videos, so be sure to follow me on Instagram and Snapchat. I want to try and show you how cool it is to sit courtside. Game 7, it's going to be hopefully an amazing game. Game 6 was really good too. So I'm back in Miami for a few days. Also got to give props to Mark Crook. He is one of my top students. He's up a little over 500,000. He is trading from Israel, and he nailed the short on LGCY, which was a nice drop. Didn't get as much panic as I had hoped or thought. Frankly, I'm just focused on longs right now. You got to be scared of shorts. MITK was my earnings winner. Classic breakout right here above 678, and that's where I was buying it. It was a little choppy here, and I actually got out way too soon. But as it time and time again happens, earnings winners keep going, and it's now at $7.50 a share. So nearly, a nice 10% winner over 2 days. Not as crazy as these junk stocks. So understand, you can buy fundamentally sound stocks that are earnings winners, but these are real companies and they're not going to go up, 3, 4, 500% because they're real. And the value of a normal company does not go up that much in a day or two, no matter what the news is. So this is a typical kind of pattern. My overnight long on the weekend is EHTH, which is similar to MITK. It's had a tough few years, but now they had a good earnings. They crushed earnings. And the reason why I bought it at just a little over 11-ish was because it was a breakout, first of all, over 1075, but then it had this top right here at 1103 back in December, and then a top here at 1097 in February. So you could clearly see that there's resistance here right around 11-ish. So I wanted to make sure that it could get above 11-ish and hold it. I mean, I only have like 1,000 shares, so it's a very small position. I don't like higher price stocks, but I think this could be like an MITK where it goes up, 5 or 10% over the next day or two. So watch this one. This is a boring kind of earnings winner, but it's, much less risk. If you're scared of trading stocks with charts, like this, as you should be, they're safer stocks too. So I try and trade wherever I think that there's a good, odds of a profit, whether it's a ridiculous supernova like this, or if it's a boring earnings winner, as long as the odds are good. And when I bought GLBS, I had no idea GLBS would be trading over $1 a share the next day when I'm buying this at 45 cents on Thursday. I simply, thought that it could break this high of like 52, which it did. Pretty staggering, actually. So it's okay to not fully understand the move. And obviously I didn't expect this. But I was on the right path. I'm buying a sympathy play of a stock that has gone supernova, and sympathy plays can go supernova too. That is the simple rule. I explain it many times and how to make millions. And you can short sell like Mark Crook did, so congrats to him. Tim Grattani, UNXL was another one of my top buys this past month. I was buying it right here on the breakout day, this first green day here, and I was buying it at 180. And I didn't know that in 3 days it was going to go from 180 to 280. I think I bought it at 180-ish, and I sold it at like 190 or 2. I don't even think I did that well on it. Let me see. I don't remember. Anyways, Tim Grattani shorted it because that's his specialty. I still traded pretty well, even though I missed out on a lot of plays. My month was pretty amazing, where I'm trading mainly with a small account, and making over $20,000. That was kind of crazy. Some of my biggest profits. Let me show you. Oh, well, this is. I was wondering why. I was like, I'm not up 23,000, but I have a long-term newsletter too. So if you take out the long-term newsletter, the long-term newsletter I made nearly 6,000 on. But aside from that, let me just pull up this. Let me get rid of that. So I was really up 18,000 on the month, which was pretty solid, given that I think I started the month at like 20,000, or I was at 19,000. So I nearly doubled my small account on the month. And really a lot of it was in the past few days. So it's good to analyze this stuff. I think it was really, really all week, all of the last week, I made 10,000 of my 18,000. So this was my best week far and away. Trading with small stuff, UNXL, this was my $2,000 profit. And this was, I rebought it on the dip too. So I actually traded UNXL twice. Good to see that. I'm forgetting. There's too many plays lately. So I bought it on this breakout here at 180, first green day, very nice. And they actually had predictable contract win or licensing agreement the next day, as they've announced for 5 weeks in a row. We'll see if they can announce another licensing or contract deal on Wednesday or Thursday. I have a feeling that the jig is up and they might actually become a pretty good short. You can see the volume has been fading pretty steadily. So UNXL is definitely a potential short for me if they don't, or even if they do announce a contract and the stock doesn't spike. But so I bought the breakout here at 180, and then I bought the dip, and that's when they announced their next contract. So by predicting contracts, not because I had insider information, just because these companies like to lay out a nice little pattern for you. They like to make it nice and simple. Why? Because this company is junk. Even though they're winning these licensing agreements, I'm sure they'll screw it up somehow. I'm sorry to be so cynical, but I've been in this game for nearly 2 decades. I know how it works. They're trying to train people into thinking they're this amazing company so that the stock keeps getting bid up, and they're probably working on some kind of toxic financing where they're going to do a fundraising at like maybe $1.80 or $1.60 or something, like a 30-40% discount to the current inflated price. So that's why it's up. And, I had my biggest profit of the week. What was my biggest profit of the month? Oh, I guess it was my biggest profit of the month too. And then Seed, that was a nice little game changer of a trade here. I guess you would call it for my small account because, I'm only buying $8,000 worth. But when you make 20%, 30% on a position, it really adds up. And, I bought this thing just because it was a recent contract winner with DuPont. And, the stock was breaking out a little bit over a few days. But the key to this trade was that they were presenting at a conference the next day after the market closed. So this stock has a tendency to morning spike and then fail. So I didn't really want to wait until the day that they present and have some morning spike because, as you can see with some of my recent trades, where I'm buying the morning spike, the stock spikes so quick and people are pissed because then the alert, you don't get it in time. And they're like, well, why didn't I get it in time? So Seed, I bought it the day before I expected something. So the day before a company presents at a conference, again, you have to think of all these companies as junk. Be as cynical as me, okay, for a second. And when you're a junk company and you're presenting at a conference, well, how do you get people excited about your presentation? Well, the key is by announcing something new. So the very day that they're presenting, guess what? They also have a new CEO, and he's also from DuPont, which is kind of good news, or very good news. And I anticipated it. I didn't know the news. I didn't know that there would definitively be news. I thought that there would be something announced to hype the stock up and the company would have a morning spike. As it turned out, I was in and out all in after hours because it hit all my goals and more. And I sold a little too soon. I think the next morning it hit 290 pre-market before dropping a little bit. But this is Seed. And now Seed has been dropping. So you don't see it in the chart, but let me go to, I got to show you this. Here we go, 290 pre-market. And I was selling into this spike because when your targets get hit and your goals get hit, you just take it. So that's what I did. So Seed was a really good trade. And that's what I want to show you. In my How to Make Millions DVD, a lot of people didn't believe it. They're like, oh, I don't, your main thesis is that you can be a millionaire making 1,000 at a time. Well, yes, it adds up. And you can see here, making 18,000 in 1 month on a $19,000 account. Now I'm over the PDT rule and, there's plays galore and I'm just trying to take the meat of the move. RESN, I took the meat of the move. GLBS, I totally missed the meat of the move here. I thought making 24% was pretty good. Little did I know, I mean, what could I have made? What is GLBS? What did it hit a high of? I would never have held, first of all, past the first spike. When it spikes like this and then comes down, I would have been out. So at best, I would have been out at 160. So theoretically, I could have made, nearly 18,000 on this one trade alone. But I'm never going to do that. I'm going to take my 20, 30, 40% profits. But this was a very good trade in anticipating that this was a sympathy play of PRGN. And, it was barely up on the day, and the next day was his big winner. So I was a little off on my timing, but still on the right track. HUSA, we already went over. MSRT was a weed play. Weed stocks were actually featured in my How to Make Millions DVD. ULTR was a sympathy play. GRNH was another weed play. So you can see common themes where I'm buying formerly hot sectors, former runners, and earnings winners. And, if you look at my biggest losses on the month, I have slow internet. Look at this. I'm really containing my losses. I lost 150 bucks. I lost 100 bucks. I lost 100 bucks. I lost 100 bucks. I lost 50 bucks. Like, I had a really damn good month by controlling myself and really only trying to, choose good trades. This was seed. I actually bought it the morning of the CEO news after it had already spiked, and it was, pre-market 290s, and I was dip buying it in the 250s thinking it could get back to the 290s. And I had to take a quick loss because, there was just a wall of sellers. So you can go in with a thesis, but if you buy something and there's a wall of sellers, you just cut losses quickly. It's not that bad. The bad thing comes when you buy a stock with a wall of sellers and then you hold and then you hope. Hope is not a strategy. Holding and hoping is not a strategy. Sometimes I buy a stock and there's just no upside, or very little upside, and I can feel that this stock might be a little overextended, as Seed later proved to be. No matter the new CEO news and that he's from DuPont. So for me, price action trumps news, although the news is what actually helped create the price action. But the stocks will kind of tell you, I know I sound kind of crazy. I'm like listening to myself. The stocks will tell you when to get in and when to get out. They really will. If price action turns against you, there's no reason to have a big loss. I mean, look at this. My gains compared to my losses, staggeringly good. 2,000, 2,000, 1,600 in profits, 1,500 in profits, 1,500 in profits. Then my losses are like 100 bucks, That's a very, very good job. And if you look at, Tim Grittani's trades, same kind of thing. Over the past 30 days, he makes 68,000. And if you look at his gains, I mean, he's making 14,000, 7,000, 6,000, 5,000. And his losses are all 2,000, 2,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. 1,000. He holds longer. He gives stocks more time to run. That's why he has more upside. I'm more controlled. But on Friday, actually Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I was not very controlled because these stocks were just amazing. So Sergey, I also got to give him props. I'm going to give you a follow, Sergey. So MITK, I tried to buy. I bought at 675 and it went to like 680-ish. But then there was a wall of sellers and I sold and I made like 3 cents a share and I didn't have patience. Now it's a 70-cent a share winner. So sometimes me playing so safely, disallows me, prevents me from having bigger gains. That's something that does happen, but this is why my losses are smaller. If Tim Grittani were buying MITK, he probably would have given it more time and it would have worked out. For me, it's either I'm right or I'm wrong, and I know within an hour or so. So MITK earnings winners, maybe I should give them a little more time because I've been a little out of practice, but frankly, they're just not as exciting as the supernova plays. So Sergey, awesome trade. Good patience, very well done, better than me. Hebrew Hammer, I got to give him props. Starting May up 1,000% year to date, thanks to me. I mean, I'm so honored. It's thanks to you, man. You're the one who is studying and making the trades. All I can do is try and give you a little guidance. Here's Omar trading PRGN and RESN. I wanted to bring up this tweet from Friday because this is a good trade. You know, GLBS, he buys it at 11.54 on the midday dip at 108, and he sells it at 119. He makes nearly 10% on his money, like 500 bucks. And RESN, same kind of thing, where you know he's well, actually this was a loss. Actually, he probably could have done a better job cutting losses. I had this mixed up, but you know, making 500 here, losing 400 there, and Legacy, I don't know how he did, but hey, that's good, Omar. It's a good start. Lee, biggest profit to date on Friday. BCE shorting it 444 and covering at 373. I really have not even looked at BCEI. You know, I frankly haven't had time, but this is a good chart to short, and it just isn't as volatile as I'd like. And frankly, I was just a little too busy. But this is a very good first red day shorting pattern. You know, I'm scared of these energy plays, but I think CHK dipped too. Yeah, CHK had a nice dip off the highs. AREX, that had a first red day, but then it came back. This is why I don't like energy plays. You know, they kind of move unto themselves, even though if you look at some of the recent energy supernovas, LNCO, you know, it put up a fight for 2 days and then it just collapsed. Same thing with Line. So this was a great shorting opportunity that I screwed up and missed. But that was, you know, this was back in March. So I did much better in April than I did in March. I think I'm still getting used to trading with such a small account compared to what I normally trade with. But frankly, I really like showing you, you know, in the past week alone, I think I've had like 20% plus winners. And out of those 20% plus winners, I think 3 of them coulda, woulda, shoulda been 100% winners, but I didn't, you know, I took the profits. So that's fine. I can't remember the last time I had a 100% winner, and I don't think that I'm going to. I don't mind telling you that I'm always going to take 20, 30, 40% wins. Here's Daniel, GLBS. He was in at 66 cents and he sold it at $1.23, so he doubled his money. And he's just watching my YouTube videos. So good job, Daniel. And then also, I got to give props to the Wolf of Orlando. I don't know if he's on Twitter, but he posted this in chat, and he was really holding on to PRGN, and he made 13,000 after 2 days, which is freaking awesome. Kenneth had a good job making 40% on his money on GLBS, making you know, 670 bucks, which is a very good gain on such a small account. So good job, Kenneth. Here's Adam. Adam's gonna get a follow too. You know, he's in GLBS at 71 cents, out at $1.19, 1,400 bucks in 6 minutes. You can't beat that. So good job, Adam. Here's Habib. I like this. I'm going to follow you, Habib, just because he's congratulating another student. We need to really, you know, help each other and really congratulate each other. You know, we're in this together. Profitly is a community of nearly 100,000 traders. I'm not saying follow anybody's alerts. I'm not saying, you know, to trade together, but do give each other props. And he's giving M. Korea, Matt, props on his $11,000 profit. And here was Matt's profit from Thursday. You know, and he just nailed PRGN. And he has a nice screenshot here, buying it in the 60-cent area and selling at $1.80. And granted, the next day this could have been, you know, $4. So he could have made over 20,000. But this was his biggest profit, I think. And you know, when you can make 11,000 and you double or nearly triple your money, you take that. So props to Matt. Just really good job. And then also Vicky, I got to give her props. You know, she was from Thursday too. But I love seeing female traders get in the game and really learn, you know, how to make it. And whether you're trading big or small, it doesn't matter. She made 700 bucks in a day. So this is what I love seeing. April, what a freaking month. PRGN, just to recap, I think is going to crash. UNXL, I'm not shorting it yet, but I do believe that if they don't announce a new contract on Wednesday or Thursday, which they I don't know how many new contracts they can announce, but even if they do and it doesn't spike, I think this could be a good short. back into the ones. But I could be wrong. This could spike a little more. So this one is a little tougher than PRGN. PRGN is kind of like a no-brainer that it's probably going to collapse, just like it did on this spike and this spike. GLBS too is a potential short. And for potential buys, we just got to wait and see. I'm going to try and piggyback the momentum of whatever's hot. If it's a low float play with a lot of volume, it can spike. And that's penny stocking, guys. I'll see you in the chat room tomorrow. Remember the 5th of November, and also to take advantage of these sales. StocksToTrade.com/sale if you want software that will help you sort this stuff better. And TimSykesSale.com if you want some DVD guides and newsletters at big discounts. Got to celebrate, but you also got to invest in your future and in your education. Thank you.